प्रमोद, अगर आप मेरे को सुन रहे हो तो प्लीज लिंक शेयर करने के लिए कह दीजिए। ठीक है, थैंक यू।
हेलो।
हाँ जी, नमस्कार जी।
हेलो,
नमस्कार नमस्कार।
गुड इवनिंग सर। एक्चुअली आई वाज फेसिंग द प्रॉब्लम इन कनेक्शन।
अच्छा, अभी ठीक है?
हाँ, मैं फिक्स कर रहा था उसको और अभी ठीक है सर।
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, आप स्क्रीन शेयर पहले ही कर दिया करो।
जी, मैं कल से कर दूंगा सर।
नहीं, अभी तो हो गया है।
जी। Namaskar, myself Dr. Pramod Kumar Gupta. I am inviting Dr. D.N. Sansanwal sir for today's program. Welcome sir.
ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच। Dear participants, if you have any question to ask before I proceed further related to whatever we have done in the last lectures. So if you have a question, please ask me the question, put it either in the chat box or in the question answer. I will see and I will reply. And if no question will come, then I will start within 2 minutes. आप में से कोई भी पार्टिसिपेंट कोई भी क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहता है तो आप अपना क्वेश्चन चैट बॉक्स में लिख दीजिए, मैं वहां से पढ़ के आपको रिप्लाई कर दूंगा, या आप क्वेश्चन आंसर में लिखना चाहे वहां लिख दीजिएगा, जो भी आपकी इच्छा है। तो मैं केवल वेट कर रहा हूं आपकी 2 मिनट, और नहीं हुआ तो मैं फिर स्टार्ट कर दूंगा। आई थिंक कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है। थैंक यू वेरी मच। डियर फ्रेंड्स, टुडे आई एम गोइंग टू स्टार्ट another one, and that is okay, there is a question. Let us see what is the question. Oh, there is no question. All right. Good evening to you. All right. Okay, now I am going to take up a new topic today, and that topic is, either you can say thesis writing, or if you want, you can say the project report writing. Whatever you, if you belong to your thesis group, then you understand from that, and those who have taken up the project. The project you are of two types. One is a minor research project, and another is a major research project. So these projects, you can get money and you can do your research using the money that you get for the project. And for thesis, if you have a scholarship, then it is fine. If you do not have a scholarship, then naturally you have to spend money from your pocket. So I need not to bother now about these two things. Now start. See, when we have to write either the thesis or the project report writing, we have to keep some points in the mind. So let us say points to be kept in mind. And if you keep these points in the mind, then you are going to improve the quality of your thesis or the quality of your report. Now, I'm not telling you these points in any sequence, but I'm just telling you these points. मैं जो ये अभी आपको पॉइंट्स बताऊंगा, ये मैं किसी क्रम में नहीं बता रहा हूं, बट ये पॉइंट्स आपको ध्यान में रखने हैं जब भी मैं स्क्रीन को एनलार्ज नहीं कर सकता, इससे ज्यादा स्क्रीन एनलार्ज नहीं हो सकती। राव जी, आप अपना देखिए। तो ये जो पॉइंट्स हैं, ये आपको ध्यान में रखने, और अगर इन पॉइंट्स को आप ध्यान में रख करके आप आगे जाएंगे, say there is one question, when while adopting any tool, is there or is it compulsory to change the item tool? See, when you are adapting the tool, adaptation automatically means that you are changing some of the words, or you might be changing some of the items. You may not change the complete item, but you may change the words, because there are some words which you may think are difficult for your member of the target group, and therefore you may like to use another one. So if you are changing any word, it is important for you to really modify that and then go ahead. So that is the answer. Okay, let me see. There is another question in the chat box. What is the question? Okay. Oh, you want my picture? All right. You can see, you can see my picture. All right, fine. So I think so. There was no question in the chat box, but if there is any question, you can ask me and I will try to answer if possible. All right. So the points to be kept in mind. Number one is, you should understand that the thesis writing and the report writing is technical in nature. It is not like a letter writing. Okay, your personal letter or official letter, they are different. So it is important that you should not use some of the words. For example, do not use I, we, she, he, they, etc. Do not use these things. In place of this, you can use in place of these, one can use the researcher. Researcher investigator, researcher, investigator. Okay. These are the words which you can use. Researcher, investigator, experimenter, if you are doing an experiment. So you can use these two words. This is one. Number two is that you must write the report. The major part of your report must be in the past tense. Major portion of the report must be written in the past tense. Why? Because you have already completed your research and now you are writing it. So it has to be in the past tense. Okay? You can use present tense only when you are referring to the information given in the table. Of course, while referring information given in the table, one may use present tense. So you may use present tense. Okay. Another is you cannot use the vague words. Should we standardize? Yes. When you are adapting any tool, that makes you are changing the items or you are changing the words. And if you are doing that, so you should try to once again do the item analysis, and then you have to establish the reliability and validity. The answer is yes, because another reason is the tool which you are trying to adapt, the population characteristics might be different also. So therefore you should do it. So Kavita Mittal ji, so that's what you should do. All right. Another is that when you are writing the report, vague words should not be used. Vague words should not be used. What I hope you know the vague words. Words like more, less, greater, small, etc. are vague words. These words should not be used, because when you are saying less, according to you, 5 may be less, but according to somebody else, it may not be less. More, if you say 20, somebody may say 20 is more, but another person may say, no, it is not more. So these are the words which you should try not to use it. Please type your question at here. Do not write question in answer. No, I think you can write. Anyway, the choice is yours. Where do you want to write? You can write. All right. Then another is that when you are reporting any numerical figure, then it is important for you to understand whether the numerical figures to be reported up to the 3 digits or up to the 2 digits. In science, you can go up to 3 or 4 digits, because in science, the instruments are very sensitive instruments, and therefore you may get values up to 4 decimal, 5 decimal, or 6 decimal points. So therefore, but in social sciences, you should not report any numerical figure in more than 2 decimal points. This is important, because when you use any software like SPSS and you analyze it, it will give the result up to 4 decimal places. And if social science people, if they report the result up to 4 decimal places, it may give an impression that the tool used was very sensitive. And when in fact, in social sciences, the tools used are not sensitive at all. If there is a slight change in the reasoning of the student, the tool will find it difficult to record and to show the difference in the reasoning. If there is a slight change in the understanding of the student, your achievement test is not sensitive enough to record that small change that has taken place. But if there is a small change in your weight, then your weighing machine will be able to record that small change. If there is a small change in the body temperature, your thermometer will be able to record that small change, and therefore the tools, instruments used in science are more sensitive than what we use in social sciences. Hence, in science, you can report, in science, one can report results up to 4 or more decimal points. But in social science, results should be reported. In social science, results should be reported only up to 2 decimal points. Only up to 2 decimal points, like 20.15. Okay, that's the one. Another is approximation. Approximation. If you have results, let's say 12.568. Okay, if you have, suppose, mean is equal to, suppose mean equal to this, then it should be reported as mean equals to 12.57. So you should approximate it any value in the third decimal place. If it is less than 5, then you need not to increase the previous digit. But if it is more than 5, then you can increase. So it has to be 12.57. Okay. But if let us say mean is equal to 23.145, then it should be reported as mean is equal to 23.14. So you need not to approximate because it is 5. If it is more than 5, then the answer is yes. So that is the one thing with that you should do. And this approximation is in social sciences. This approximation is to be used only in social science, but not in pure sciences. In pure science, if they have to report, sir, is there any difference between thesis and project? No. The thesis means you will be getting a degree, and project means that you have got the money and you are conducting a either major research project or a minor research project, and it is not for a degree. But thesis is always for a degree and project is not for a degree. If any one of you is lecturer, say assistant professor or associate professor or professor, you can always get money for doing the project, and then that is the report you have to write after its completion. So there is no difference, only this is the difference. Because once you submit the project report, you are not going to get any degree. But when you have to submit your academic progress report, then you can mention that you have completed a project funded by such and such agency. So that's all. Otherwise, there is no other. There is no other difference. Okay. Then another, my dear friends, when you are writing the symbols, so you have to decide whether you are writing the symbol in the small alphabet or in the capital alphabets. So that the symbol, you should write whatever is normally used. You can't have your own symbols. So therefore, use symbols, use standard symbols. Use standard symbols. For example, standard symbols, and there must be consistency. Consistency in its use. What is the meaning? The meaning is, if I say mean is represented, if mean is represented as M, then one should not write capital M, or one should not write small m sometime, and one should not write sometime small m and sometime capital N. No, you have to have only one. That is your, so the symbol, whatever symbol you have decided, that symbol must be used throughout your report or throughout your thesis, exactly the same. Suppose if standard deviation, if standard deviation is reported as small s, then you have to keep on using small s. But if you want to use, let me see if I can have another symbol. Okay. That if you want to use so if standard deviation is denoted as symbol, then one should not denote standard deviation by sigma. This is very important, my dear friends, because I have seen many a times in the thesis that sometimes they are using small s for standard deviation and sometimes they are using sigma for standard deviation. So that should not happen. This type of inconsistency, it is very dangerous for the reader, because if you use different symbols, then reader will get confused and will really lose the track of whatever you are trying to write in that report or the thesis. Then another important thing is that when you are making a table, in one table, you should not give information related to large number of variables. Yes, if you want to write SD, that's all right. That's okay. SD is all right, but then you keep on writing SD. Dr. Omveer Yadav ji, what is the question? Okay, then instead of then, I could not understand. Okay, you want to say THEN, in place of THEN, I should write THN. All right, fine. Thank you, Omveer Yadav. Thank you very much. Okay, so then another is, in one particular table, you should not give information more than 3 variables. If you give information of 4 or 5 variables in one particular table, then the table will become complex, and many a times it is not within the understanding level of the reader. So it is important that you should not try to give more information in one table. In one table, one may give at the most information, information of 3 variables. More variables information in one table makes it complex and difficult to understand. Okay, that is the another. Another, my dear friend, is that whenever you are making a table, each table must be accompanied by its title. And the title must reflect the information given in the table. So each table must have a heading, which should reflect the information presented in the table. And the heading must be above the table, but not below it. I have seen some people, they make a table and below the table they will be writing the heading. That is not appropriate. Then another one, the table which you have, if it is a too long table, then it may come in 2 pages or 3 pages, all right. But if it is not a too long table, then you should not break the table. The whole table must appear on one particular page. So if possible, do not split the table. The whole table must appear on one page. The whole table must appear on one page. Please see, I have written if possible. This is important. Okay. The description must come immediately after the table. So the table must precede the table must precede its explanation. must precede its explanation. That means whatever information you are giving in the table, you should first give the table, and below that you should give the information. And each table must have number. So that I am now telling you. So the table must precede its explanation. Okay, if you are putting the table on the previous page and its explanation comes on the second page, then on the second page you should not write the above table, because the table is not about, the table is on the previous page. So in order to avoid such type of thing, you should number the table, and when you are saying, you should refer to the table number. So each table must be numbered. The first number, first digit must reflect the chapter, and the second digit must reflect the serial number of the table. This is important. Say if I say please explain in acha oh okay सुरेंद्र okay, मैं एक बार ये आपकी जो सारणी है उस सारणी के बारे में मैं बता रहा हूं कि सारणी में दी गई जानकारी है, उस जानकारी को आप पहले टेबल दे दीजिए, सारणी दे दीजिए, और उसके बाद आप उस सारणी में जो जानकारी है उसका उल्लेख कर दीजिए। और जहां तक हो सारणी एक ही पेज पे आनी चाहिए, उस सारणी को 2 पेज पे मत तोड़। अगर सारणी 4 पेज की है तब बात अलग है, लेकिन अगर सारणी बहुत बड़ी नहीं है तो उसको 4 पेज में नहीं रखना चाहिए, वो एक ही पेज में, वो उसको तोड़ना नहीं चाहिए। ऐसा नहीं कि आधी सारणी पहले पेज पे और आधी अगले पेज पे, नहीं, उसको किसी एक पेज पे ले आइए, ठीक है। और जब आप उसका जो सारणी का जो नंबर देंगे वो कैसे देंगे, मैं आपको बता रहा हूं कि अगर आपने लिखा टेबल 3.12, इसका मतलब है कि चैप्टर नंबर 3 और उसमें टेबल नंबर 12 है। So when I am writing the table 3.12, the meaning is it is the third table, and the table number, the third is the chapter, and 12 makes the 12th number of the table. But if I write like this, table 4.2, that makes it the 4th chapter, and in the 4th chapter, this is the second table which is coming. So this is how you should write. Please, how to write review of related literature in steps. I have already told you yesterday, and if you have not understood, then today I will try to tell you. Don't worry about it. Durga, I hope you were there yesterday. Okay. तो ये हमको टेबल देनी है, फिर हमको कैप्शन नंबर देना पड़ेगा। ईच each main caption as well as sub captions should be numbered. Okay. Now, how do we number them? If suppose I want, for example, if I'm writing chapter number 3, or say I'm writing chapter number 1, then I say 1. Okay. And I am writing the first, then 1.1. So this, the first digit represents the chapter, the second represents the caption, and if it is 0 after that, then it means it is the main caption. So it represents the first chapter, and in the first chapter, it is the first caption, main caption, and here you have to write it in the capital. Say, suppose I write it is introduction. So therefore, that's how you have to write. Okay. I may write another caption like this. Say, suppose if this is my, if I say this is my third chapter, and this is the third caption and the main, and this I'm writing 2. Okay. And or if I have more than that, then I can write tools, no problem at all. That you have to decide. So when you are writing tools, then it is possible you may write 3.3.1. But sir, yesterday you wrote that was not a thesis. My dear friend, that was only the proposal. And in the proposal, we do not write chapter wise. In the proposal, it is all right. But now I am today talking about, today I am Siddiqui not talking about the proposal, but I am talking about the thesis writing or the report writing. So do not get confused, because there was no chapter. So here, this is the third chapter and the third main caption, and it is 3.0 and it is tool. Now, I may write like this, that there were 3 variables, or you can say the variables of this study were. I'm just writing, I will, when I'm writing the thesis, I will tell you this once again. The variables of this study were, say, study habit, reasoning, and achievement. And achievement in mathematics. And achievement in mathematics. Okay. The details of each variable tool is given under is tool given under different headings, given under different captions. Okay. And then now you have to write your variable name here. If it is a steady habit, then you say steady. Now, when it is a main one, then everything has to be capital. Now, this is not main, this is sub-heading, so only first letter is capital. So these are important things that you should try to understand. I hope you are understanding. Then 14 is, okay, I think I have said majority of the things. Yes, that's fine, nice. Okay, these are some of the points. Okay. Graph. I have seen that many of the people, they just put graph for the sake of graph. Because when they put the graph, but they do not use the information from the graph at the time of interpretation, then there is no sense of putting the graph. So please do not put the graph. Please do not put the graph just for the sake of putting the graph. You have to put graph only and only if it is essential. Because I have seen that many of the researchers, they make pie diagram, or they make bar graph, or they make histogram, but they are not integrating the information from the graph in their interpretation. Then what is the use of giving that graph? Graph for the sake of graph is no graph. So therefore you should put graph only and only. Could you please share important points about, do not worry, I will do that. Do not worry about. In the, yes, library research, that is quality, no problem at all. Okay. So therefore, do not give a graph just for its sake. The information, if graph is given, then its information must be used at the time of interpretation. Okay, you have to integrate it with the interpretation. Okay, and all graphs must be numbered. Your table number and graph number will be different. If you are putting a graph, then you say graph. If it is in the fourth chapter, then graph 4.1. If it is your first graph. So fourth chapter and first graph, but then you have to write graph. As in the table, we have written table. So therefore, here we are saying these are chapters. And if we have, then we are writing that that correct. Okay. Can we use figures instead of graph? You must know the difference between graph and figure. There is a difference between the graph and the figure. Okay. Mostly in science, you do have a graph and you do have a figure also. So therefore, depending upon that, you should know whether the graph you are referring or you are referring to the figures. Okay. So therefore that you have to decide whether it is graph or it is figure, whatever it is, whatever you think. Okay. All right. Then another is, so you are putting the graph and, but if you are not integrating it with the interpretation, then there is no sense of just giving the graph. I don't think there is any sense of giving the graph if you do not want to really use it at the time of interpretation. Okay. Then another is that you must know that which information is to be given in which chapter. Do not take just definitions from the standard books and just write the definition in your thesis. It's of no use. If you have to write definition, so you should only give that definition which you have used in your own research. And if there is no need of giving anyone, then don't give anyone. No problem at all. Because I have seen people, they write the definition of keywords, or sometimes they write definition of words. Now, whatever the words they are using, sometimes they write 5566 definition. What is the sense of it? You are not writing a book, you are writing a report. So that is why it's important. So these points are all right. Now these are the common points which I have said, which you must keep in the mind. And if there are some other comes to your mind, you can use them, or you find them in some books, you can use, no problem at all. Now I am going to the structure. You know, yesterday I told you in the thesis, the top page will have, now I am saying in the thesis, the top page must give the following information. One information is the title. And this title must be exactly worded in the same words as it is given in your registration letter. You get one letter from the registrar office once you have been registered on that particular problem for your PhD. You cannot change any word. But when, of course, you are writing, then you should know that you are writing the title, which is technically correct title. And I have already told you how to write titles. So therefore, this your title must be exactly whatever is registered. In many of the universities, if there is a small change like comma, etc., they don't accept. So you have to be careful. After writing the title, then you should write the thesis submitted to, you write the name of the university. Oh, sorry, the thesis submitted for award of doctoral in philosophy. Doctor of philosophy, PhD. So doctor of philosophy. And then you should write whatever is your subject. Or if you do not write doctor of philosophy, then of course you can write PhD. That's all depend upon you. And then you should say submitted to. Then here you should write the name of the university. Name of the university. And this format is available in your university. You can take the help of any thesis that has been submitted and you can copy it as it is, no problem at all. But don't copy the title. You have to write your own title. After that, then your guide, you have to write your guide name, and then it is Sir, could you please share all points? I'm sorry, not in WhatsApp group. I'm sorry, I do not have a WhatsApp group, so I cannot share it. You should ask the Pramod Kumar Gupta. Dr. Gupta can do it, but I will not, because I am not. So guide, and then you should write the researcher. So your name, etc., and then signature. Your guide will sign, as well as the student should also sign. I will mail on the last day of my lecture. Please do not be impatient. I will, once I say I will do, that means I will do. On 7th, after my lecture, the whole file, I will send it to Dr. Pramod Kumar Gupta, and then you can request him to share it with you. I will also request on your behalf. Absolutely no problem. Okay, just try to understand what I am saying. Okay, good, no problem at all. Please keep on writing. Okay, so you have to write your name and then you have to sign. And when you are signing, please do not forget to write the date. Because if you just sign and do not write the date, then it is of no use. So you have to sign along with the date, because that date will give lot of information then on which particular day and the month and year you submitted that particular thesis. Okay, so therefore you have to sign and write the date. And then you have to give the address of your research center. So give the address. So here you have to give address of research centers. if you belong to the university, then your department itself will be the research center, and then you have to give your departmental address. But if you are in the college, your college, if is a recognized research center, then you can give the address of your college. If suppose you work in one college and that is not the recognized research center, then you cannot give the address of that. Give the address of the research center which processed your application. It is that simple. But if you are doing a project, in the project, you need not to write anything like guide. You need not to write anything like thesis submitted. For that, you can say the project report submitted to ICSSR, CSIR, whatever it is, and then you can write here your investigator. Okay, if you are two investigators, then you write 1 and 2, both signature and the address. So that is the top page of your, say, whatever. And then below this address, you should write the year. And this should be the year in which you are submitting it. If you are submitting it in 2021, then write 2021. If you have already submitted in 2020, then I hope you have written 2020. So that's what you have to write. After that, then the next page in the thesis will not be in the research report, but in the thesis. The next page that will be there is certificate from the guide stating that the research carried out by the student is original work and has not copied from anywhere. Okay, so then next page will be a certificate from the guide stating and the guide stating that the research of so and so, the research conducted by so and so is original piece of research, and he or she has not copied it from any source. Actually, this certificate language you will get from your own university, or you can see the old thesis, and in each thesis you will have this particular certificate, and you can take down the wording from that certificate and you can use it in writing your. And then this has to be signed. It has to be signed only by the supervisor or guide. Guide only has to sign, not the candidate. The candidate will not sign. It is only the guide has to sign. Okay, thank you very much. It is peace, P-I-E-C, not P-E-A. P-E-A-C means it is peace, happy, everything. So it is original P-I-E-C. Okay, thank you very much. So that is what you have to do. After that, then the next page will be of the content. No, next page will be page is of acknowledgement. Is acknowledgement. This acknowledgement page, which you have to write, it is entirely up to the researcher to whom the researcher wants to acknowledge. Normally, I'll tell you, people acknowledge the dean of the faculty, they acknowledge the head of the department, and they acknowledge the guide. And along with these three, if you have collected data from the field, and if somebody has helped you in the field, then you can acknowledge those people who helped you in data collection. If you have got your data analyzed with the help of someone, in reality, you should analyze it yourself, but by chance, if you have got the help of someone, you can acknowledge. If you want to acknowledge your parents, you can acknowledge, no problem at all. Because this is entirely it has nothing to do with head of the department or dean or whatever it is. So that acknowledgement you should give. You should acknowledge your librarian, because you will be taking the help from the librarian, and therefore you can acknowledge the librarian or any other. If you are not typing yourself, and if you are getting the thesis typed, then the person who helped you in typing, then you can acknowledge that person also. It's perfectly correct, nothing wrong in that. So this acknowledgement is entirely up to the researcher. After the acknowledgement page, the next page is of content. On the next page, you have to write the content. And in the content, what you have to do is, say you have written the certificate from the guide. Then number one is certificate from the guide. Number two is acknowledgement. Okay, so then you can write, say first is certificate, from guide. And then you should write here number, and this number will be the Roman number. And then another is acknowledgement. And this acknowledgement, if it is on the second page, then you have to write it in the second. Okay. If you have written, if there is any other letter, which I don't think you have written, so therefore, then there is no need of writing another thing. Now, what you have to do is, it need to write preface of the thesis? I don't think so. But my dear friend, if in your university, there is a tradition of writing preface, because I don't think a thesis must have a preface. But if in your own university, if there is a tradition of writing preface, well, you can write. But I don't think there is any sense of it. But if it has to be written, then you can see whether you want to write after the acknowledgement or before the acknowledgement. That is your choice. Okay. Then after that, is it needed to Sumit Kumle, please, are you writing in both the one in question answer as well as in this one? Kumle, please don't write in both. If you are writing in the chat one, then do not write in the question answer. It is my humble request to you. Otherwise, I have to check both. All right, thank you very much. All right. Now, after that, then really by the start, the chapter, whatever the chapter that you are writing, so you have a chapter, okay, then you have a title, and then you have a page. Now, if it is your chapter first, then in the first chapter, how exactly, what are the things that you are writing? So we don't write this, we say like this, chapter. So this is your chapter 1, and it has to be Roman. And this chapter is capital. Chapter 1. Now in the chapter 1, what have you written? Your first caption, 1.1.0. If this is your introduction, then you have to write introduction. Then what was 1.2.0? Whatever is the heading that is coming. And this introduction is coming on which page? So here you have to write the page number. Okay, whatever is the page. Then the second one, then the third one, and then the second one, the third one. If you have written these two captions, then their heading, whatever are the heading that you are writing. Okay, so once you complete your chapter number 1, then you have to go to your chapter number 2. I will tell you about length of the introduction. Don't worry about it. I will tell you. Savita, don't worry about it. So like this. So these caption headings, which you have to write for chapter number 1, then after that you will write for chapter number 2, then chapter number 3, etc., etc. Once you have completed all this, then at the end of this, then you are writing what is known as your references. Okay, so then you have to write your chapter number 2, chapter 2. Okay, and in the chapter 2 also, you will be first writing that 2.1.0. It is again introduction. And then you are writing 2.2. 2.2.0, whatever is the main caption that you want to write, you can write it here. Then 2.3.0, whatever the main caption that you are writing. And then you have to go to the third chapter, fourth chapter, and at the end, you have to write bibliography. So after this, you can write bibliography, you have to write, not references. Because bibliography means the references plus those things which you want to write here, and because you have only referred them, you have not quoted. If there is a book you have written, but you have not quoted it, therefore it becomes part and parcel of your bibliography. So your bibliography will include that literature which you have quoted and the literature which you have not quoted, but you might have read or you might have benefited from that particular one. So referred and not referred both will become the part and parcel of the bibliography. How the bibliography has to be written, I will tell you, don't worry about that. Now, once you have written chapter 3, chapter 4, etc., etc., then on next page, you have to write the tables. You know, when you have to give these tables, is there any table in chapter number 1? If you have not given any table, don't worry. In chapter number 2, in whichever the chapter that you have given the table number, suppose in table 3, in chapter 3, in caption 3, you have given a table. So here you can write 3.3.0, and here you can write the name of that particular table. In your results and interpretation chapter, you will be writing, you will be giving lot of tables. So then that particular will have large number of tables. So that's what you can do. Once you have given that table, then on separate page, if you have given graph, if you have given the graphs, then you should write the graph number, whatever it is, say it is 4.1. That makes it is in the 4th chapter, and this is the first graph. Whatever is the name of the graph that you should put. If you have another graph 4.2, then you should put. Okay. And if you have given any diagram, not graph, there is a difference in graph and diagrams. In science, the students or the researcher will be giving the graph and as well as the diagram also. Then you should make another table, and in that particular table, then you should be able to write the what is known as the diagram. In social sciences, normally people do not give any diagram, okay, but they give graph, okay. So therefore, that's what you should. So I have covered the top page. I have covered the after the top page, next page, the teacher certificate and the acknowledgement, or if you want to write preface, and then after that, the content. So what all that you have to give. Now I'll tell you how you will start writing your chapter number 1. Sir, please differentiate between reference and bibliography. reference come. Okay. Okay, Savita, I am telling you just now, don't worry about it. See, when you write your thesis, you do not write references. And you do not write references after each and every chapter, because the same reference you may use in more than one chapters. And if you have to write at the end of each chapter, then that reference will be repeated. So there was a time when people were writing the references at the end of the chapter, and they were writing the bibliography at the end of the thesis. Now, these days, in order to save pages and in order to make it more coherent, the people do not give the references at the end of the chapter. So they write bibliography, and bibliography includes references plus non-referred material which only has been read. That is what is to be done. I hope you have understood. If you have not, then you can ask me again and I will tell you. So will you please share the outline or point? Please, Alka, I have said many a times, I will share everything. Do not worry about it. I cannot share my head. Rest of the things I'm sharing with you. Don't worry about it. I said that on 7th, after my lecture, I will send this file to Dr. P.K. Gupta, and I will request him to share it with all the participants. And if you do not get, then you may approach Dr. Gupta. I think he will try to help you out. Okay. Now then, from a new page that you have to start, and now you have to write the chapters. And the chapter writing, the first chapter that you have to write is this is the first chapter which you have to write. And chapter number we always put in Roman, and chapter is to be in capital. अगर आप हिंदी में लिख रहे हैं तो हिंदी के अंदर आपका कैपिटल नहीं होता है, तो आपको कोई ज्यादा चिंता की जरूरत नहीं है. अब मुझे नहीं मालूम कि चैप्टर को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं. अगर आप अध्याय लिखते हैं तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि वो अध्याय सही है, बट आपके जो अध्यापक हैं वो आपको मदद कर सकते हैं इसके लिखने में कि इसको अध्याय लिखना चाहिए या क्या लिखना चाहिए. Cannot we add index in thesis? Ajad, I have not understood your question. Cannot we add index in the thesis? What index? No, no index in the thesis. Index is only in textbooks, not in the thesis. Absolutely no. But if in your university there is a tradition of writing index, then well, it's up to you, but index can not be part and parcel of the thesis. Index is always in books, whatever the books you have. All right, another one is MLA Handbook 9 is proposed to be published in April. So do we need to follow? Yes. If you are submitting your thesis Now, after that is published, then you have to follow that. Okay, whatever is the latest one. So you have to follow the latest one. And if you are already about to submit, then you can follow the handbook 8. But if you have to submit little late, then you can follow up whatever is the latest one that you can follow. No problem at all. All right. So therefore, your chapter number this 1. And please, consistency is very important. Sometimes you give the chapter number in Roman and sometimes you do not give in a Roman. That should not happen. Sometimes you write chapter capital and sometimes you do not write capital. That should not happen. Because these are some of the protocols which all of you have to follow. And then the name is introduction. Now, this is the chapter number. You have written 1, and introduction you have written, and then 1.1.0 is you have to write introduction. This introduction which you are writing, this introduction is the whole chapter. But this is the introduction that in this particular chapter, which information, under which headings, and in which sequence you are giving. So therefore here what you have to say in this thesis, okay, the information like this. Say for example here, what I will write is like this. I'll say the problem of this study was, because you have already completed, so it has to be in the past. The problem of this study was so and so. Okay, in this chapter, the information is in this chapter, the information is given under headings like, now you have to give your first heading, whatever you are writing at 1.2.0. Then after that, whatever you write in 1.1.3. So you will write something here, then you will write something here. And I told you yesterday that 2 captions or 3 captions you should devote, which will help the reader in order to understand the conceptual framework of your research. So I cannot tell you the headings of these 2 or the 3 or maybe the 4 captions which you are writing, and these will be purely for the conceptual framework, not more than that. And each variable will have some related concepts, and that you have to write. After that, then in the proposal, I told you to write the review of related literature, but here you will not write the review of the related literature. In science, sometimes they write the review of related literature in chapter number 1 because it is not a lengthy one. But in social sciences, the review of related literature is normally of 50 to 60 pages. So if you integrate it in the first chapter, then the length of the first chapter will be around 100 pages, and that is too much. So in order to avoid this, write the separate chapter for the review of the related literature. So therefore, if you want that, you can write the review of related literature as a separate chapter if you have large number. If you have only few studies to quote, then it may be part of the first chapter. But if it is a part of the first chapter, it should be before you write the rationale or before you write the need and importance of the study. Okay, so therefore the 1.5.0 will be then rationale. Or you can say need and importance. Some people were asking, can we write significance? You can write significance. Whatever the caption heading that you think you want to write, you can write, no problem at all. So therefore, here you have to write the rationale which you have written in your proposal. The proposal rationale and the thesis rationale must be very different. The thesis rationale must be richer than the rationale which you wrote at the time of proposal. Because now, during your course of the research, you might have read many of the books related to your area, and you might have been now able to write a more strong rationale than what you wrote at the time of your related literature, at the time of proposal. Secondly, in the meanwhile, some more researches might have come and you might have seen which are related to the aspect which you are going to study. And those references, those studies you did not quote in your proposal because they were not there at that point of time. So now these additional researches which you have got, you have to make it a part and parcel of your thesis because they are the latest one. And then you have to incorporate the gist of that in the rationale. So this rationale, you have to write it by keeping in mind the rationale which you have written at the time of proposal. You may use some of the ideas there, but you may still like to write a better one. Okay, so therefore you write the rationale. And once you have written the rationale, the next point is statement of problem. Now here you will be writing that the problem was worded as given below. Now, in the proposal, you wrote the following will be the problem. And now you are writing the problem was worded because you have already completed. So it has to be written in the past tense. After that, you should write objectives. If you do not want to write objectives, then you can write research questions. But do not write both. I have seen recently in some of the researches, the thesis, the researcher has written both the objectives as well as the research questions. What is the sense? Because the meaning is the same. In some of the researches, they write main objective and then they write subsidiary objectives. My dear friend, in research, there is nothing like main and there is nothing like subsidiary. If they would not have been main, then you would not have done it. What is the background of the study? What we should be. See, the background, what you are talking about is the rationale. Okay? So when I'm saying rationale, when I'm saying significance of it, then you can write that. Or if you are writing the chapter name as background, I don't think that will be appropriate. How many, please? There is no page number limit. You should not write unnecessary things. Write whatever is essential and which will help the reader to understand your work. So therefore, please do not bother to write too much. So write precise and whatever is needed. So you have to write the objectives. Now, when you wrote your objectives at that time of proposal, after your, say, interview, if the wording of the proposals were changed and you agree to the change, and if the change is technically all right, you may write whatever you want here. But when you submit your thesis to the university, the clerk will only check your problem title, the statement of your problem. The statement of problem should not change whatever was written in your registration letter. Your objectives, if you want to change objectives, you can change. If you want to increase one or two objectives, you can increase, no problem. If you want to change the language of the objective to make it more accurate, no problem. Change for improving the quality is all right. I repeat, if you want to change and you are changing to bring in the quality in your research, it is perfectly all right. So please, either you write your objectives or you write your research questions, but do not write both. And when you are writing your objectives, then you say that the following were the objectives of this study. Okay? So you can say the following were the objectives. If you want to write research questions, then you say following were the research questions. Following were the objectives. Or research questions. of this study. And then you can give whatever your research questions are there or whatever are your objective. Absolutely no problem in that. Please give an example of the statement of problem. मैं जरा अभी लेक्चर में हूं मैडम, मैं बात करता हूँ, मैं वेबिनार कर. ओके ओके ओके. Is synopsis same with research? Actually, in many of the universities, research proposal and synopsis are not same. You write synopsis after you have completed your research, and when you want to submit your thesis, so before submitting you have a synopsis. Well, different universities have different, so you can do it. The statement of the problem, I have already given you the statement that if your statement of the problem is, suppose, because when I told you how to write title, so at that time I did give you the one. Say, suppose if you want to say a study of stress of college teachers of government colleges of Rajasthan, or if you say government college of Jaipur. If this is your title, whatever the title is written in your registration letter, you have to write that. So then you write your objectives, and your objectives must be pinpointed, my dear friend. If you have, say, 4 or 5 objectives, then you write your 5 objectives. After that, if suppose you have the quantitative data and you have analyzed it with the help of a statistical technique, then you have to write hypothesis. And then here you should write the following were the hypotheses. The following were the hypothesis of this study. And then you can give your hypothesis here, 1, 2, whatever it is. But if you are doing a qualitative research, then you need not to write any hypothesis. Once you have written hypothesis here, my dear friend, after that, what you should do is that you should write delimitation. I'm not saying limitation, delimitation. The delimitation has to be with respect to your sample, size of the sample, whatever that you have taken, related to your variables, whatever you have taken, or whatever the other delimitations that you have got. My dear friends, I have not written here one important thing. And why I did not write, because, well, that you can see. Once you have written the statement of the problem, sometimes people write the definitions. So sometimes people after this, they write definitions, or it may be 1.7.0, they may write a definition, okay? That here may be definition of words, and the definition of the word here is stress. But as by my understanding, why should I give many definitions of the stress? I should only give the definition of the stress which I have used in my own research. And I have seen people will be giving many definitions. But now I'm telling you, please listen. If your guide says you have to write the definition, please write the definition. Because it is very difficult to tell to the guide that why should we write the definition? These are already given there. You write that definition of that word which you have used. And for the stress, you will be using a tool. And when you are writing the tool detail, there you give the definition. Perfectly correct. Nothing wrong in that. But here there is no sense of giving. So therefore, I am just saying that definitions of technical words if required. If required. I do not really like to give the definitions. See, operation, yes, people call operational definition is only in the tool. But here people, sometimes they write definitions, sometimes they write operational definitions. But operational definition has to be only of that variable, and that operational definition on which your tool was based. So there is a lot of, what is the main difference between limitation? See, each research will have some limitation. If I only collect the data from urban area, then that is my limitation. That I did not collect the data from the rural area. Okay, and delimitation is from that I have collected data from urban area, but only I have collected only from 500 people. So that is my delimitation. So whatever the research is to be done, it has to be done with limitation, but on the basis of limitation, you are further limiting it, and that is why it is called delimitation. Limitation of limitation is called delimitation. Hope you have understood. Okay. And that comes to the end of your, after delimitation. So after this comes to an end of your chapter. Okay. In some of the theses I have seen, they give some summary of the other chapter. There is no sense of giving the summary here. I don't think you should give the summary. So therefore, I am now coming to the close of my today's one. What is the main difference between limited? Okay, that I have said. Okay, thank you very much. I am now closing it, and then tomorrow I will start with the second chapter. Okay, and if you have to ask any question, you can ask me, no problem at all. So thank you very much. Gupta
Okay. Many thanks to you, sir. And many thanks to all participants. We will meet again tomorrow at the same time.